Hi, this is Sweet June. I'm not understanding why this picture is foggy on this camera right now. I don't understand. It looks foggy, foggish. Um, I don't know if it's the weather or what's going on with it. But anyway, this is Sweet June. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Decent day up here in Michigan. It's nice and warm. Well, 40 degrees is nice for Michigan. This time of year, 40 degrees. 40 degrees is nice for Michigan in February. That's a heat wave. Of course, the climate will change, and in a couple of months, 40 degrees won't feel so good. But anyway, I don't know if you guys have heard about the young black man that got shot. The FedEx, he didn't get shot, excuse me. He didn't get shot, he got shot at. He's a FedEx driver. He was a FedEx driver and he got shot at. I'm not sure what city that happened in. Go ahead and hit me up in the comment section and let me know what city that was. These two white males, father and son duel, the same as the Aubrey case, thought it was a good idea to take a shot at the FedEx driver. He was just basically doing his job. I'm assuming this was a predominantly white neighborhood. He was just doing his job, delivering packages. And he had his shirt on to identify himself. And they thought it was a good idea to start taking shots at him. I don't know who does that. Who does that in any neighborhood? In any neighborhood, I don't care who does that. Who sees somebody, particularly if it's a person that works for the post office, an Amazon driver, a FedEx driver, and starts just hurling bullets at them. Who does that? So I don't know. Well, maybe they were racist. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense to me. Why would you start? The only reason why you would shoot anybody or take a shot at anybody is if in defense, if you're trying to defend yourself. But this guy was just doing his job. This young black man was just doing his job. He had his shirt on. He was delivering packages. He was just doing his job. And these guys just started shooting at him. When I first read that, because I get news alerts on my phone, because my brother works for FedEx. I get these news alerts on my phone, and when that popped up, this FedEx driver I instantly panicked. I said, "Oh my God!" I started making some phone calls, and then I clicked on it, and it said it was somewhere else. God, it scared me half to death. Because the news alerts flash across my phone. They just flash across my phone. And my brother happens to be a FedEx. He happens to work for FedEx. So when I first seen that, I was like, "Oh my God." And then I clicked on it and I read it. And I was like, "Oh my God." It literally scared the bejeebies out of me. So I'm not going to go in on the company. But I will say this. They said they had the young man go back to the neighborhood, and then Crump is going to help represent the family and possibly filing a lawsuit against FedEx, just stating the facts. But and then of course they issued a statement, for the image of the company. They issue a statement. They have to do that. Because that reminds me of kind of black people. It's like we can't go in certain areas. It's just one of those things that's not talked about a lot. Black people, we can't go in certain areas without somebody looking at us like suspicious. Because I told the story before when I was doing home care. The agency sent me to. We got a lot of byways and we got a lot of rural country areas surrounding in my city. There's a lot of country areas. There's a lot of sticks. Where there's they sent me on a road that I had never been on before. Not too far. They claimed it was still in my city. That's what they claimed. But it was on the outskirts. It was just on the outside of my city. I guess you could say it technically was, but it was on the outskirts, in the country, in the sticks. They sent me to this area, didn't give me the exact instructions. The client lived, her house was like up on a hill. It was like literally a road going up to her house. They neglected to tell me that. So I'm driving up and down this road, and that's when I realized Michigan has swamps. There's swamps here in Michigan. I didn't know that. I'm like, wow, there's swamps out here. Michigan has swamps. Who knew? We ain't got no gators. But anyway, I'm driving up and down the street in my son's car at the time. What was the name of that car? It was in my son's car. I can't think of the name of the car, but the car was so low to the ground, it was literally, I say it was kissing the ground. When the cars are low like that, I say they're kissing the ground. This car was so low to the ground, it was kissing the ground. I'm driving up and down the street in this little car, on this country. It was a country road, trying to find this client's house. I'm in the sticks in the country, Never been on this road before, driving up and down the street, trying to find this client's house. Because the GPS, I did my GPS, but they neglected, they didn't give me exact instructions, and they neglected to tell me that this client had a road going up to her house. So she turned out to be a pretty good client and everything. Anyway, this white guy, to make a long story short, this white guy stopped me. Because he see me driving up and down the street. He stopped me and asked me what was my business basically in the neighborhood. He had a smile on his face. And I showed him my identification. I said I'm with, the agency. I named off the agency that I was with, and I said I was looking for a client. I hate to see what would have happened if I was a black male, because black women are seen as less of a threat. We're seen as less of a threat than black males are seen as more of a threat. I hate to think what would have happened if I was a black male. And I thought about that at the time. I said, what if I was a black male? Black males are seen, they see them more as a threat. So I told the agency, I said, look, and I think I went to the wrong house. I don't know if that was the day I went to the wrong house or it was another day. But I told the agency, I said, you have to give me, I'm a black woman. You can't, you got to be, I can't be out in the country just driving around. And the one lady acted like she didn't know what I was talking about. The other lady that worked in the agency said, oh, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. You can't send a black woman out in the country with no exact instructions, knocking on random people's doors. I mean, you just can't do that. I mean, it's not safe for a white woman. It's actually not safe for any woman, to be honest. It's not safe for any female, regardless of race, but it's really unsafe for a black woman. You know what I mean? So it's unsafe for a female, period, regardless of race. But it's really unsafe for me because I got that extra element. I'm a female, but then I have that extra element of race there. So they always think we up to no good. I mean, I'm just going to keep it 100. They always think we up to no good. So this guy's looking at me like, what are you doing here? He see me driving up and down the street, and I had to tell him who I was. If I was white, he wouldn't have thought nothing of it. Ma'am, can I help you? He wanted to know where, why I was in the neighborhood. Because this was out in the country. There probably ain't no blacks out there. So this is people don't understand that. And I like to, I'm a real estate buff. I like to sometimes look at the beautiful homes, and we got a lot of beautiful homes around here, in some areas. And I sometimes like to look at the beautiful homes. I'm a real estate buff. I love to look at the beautiful homes, and I just go on Google Maps and look at them as opposed to driving around the neighborhoods. It's fun to do that, but I'll just go on Google Maps to look at them. It's safer that way, because black people can't go to certain neighborhoods. People don't realize that when you black, particularly if you're a black male, they always think we up to no good. They always think we have an agenda. It's a reason why we in the neighborhood. Because I got lost one time because they cut off the road. They cut off a road going out towards the mall and stuff in my city, because they were doing some construction on it. So I had to go take an alternate route. I turned down, of course, there's a lot of neighborhoods before you get to that, but they're affluent neighborhoods. And so I turned down another road, and I wind up in this neighborhood with all these beautiful homes by a lake. And I'm like, where am I? I said, I ain't never seen this neighborhood in my life. But it looked like it was an affluent area. And I was like, well, my first thought was, I better get out of this neighborhood before they call the police on me. I had to get on my GPS, and yes, I got lost in my own city, because we got some areas. It's a small city, but then there's some areas here that, believe it or not, that I've never been in, believe it or not. So this particular area, I don't recall ever being in this area. There's no reason for me to go there. I don't know nobody over there. So I just kind of got lost and got off track, and I'm like, so I said, ooh, let me get out of this neighborhood. I don't want them calling the police. And those are the thoughts that go through our mind. But when you're just doing your job, this guy was just doing his job. You don't think that if you have a uniform to identify who you are, you don't think that somebody's going to start taking a shot at you and thinking that you're there to rob somebody, because you figure, well, I got my shirt on and everything. This guy had his shirt on, so it should have been very obvious to them that he was just there doing his job. So why would you start taking shots at this man? You know what I mean? So, there's this certain neighborhoods, particularly if you're a black male, you can't, as a black person, you can't go to. Now when they come to our neighborhood, we don't bother them. To be honest, we don't come, when white people come to the black neighborhood, we don't bother them. In most cases, we don't bother them. But, when you go, they always think we up to no good, particularly if it's an affluent white neighborhood. If it's a affluent white neighborhood, they're going to be looking at you like sideways, like, don't be driving up and down the street. Don't be doing that. They think you're trying to case the place out so you can rob. So they always think we up to no good. So it's this, I just think that why would you just start randomly shooting at somebody unless you just want them to take this young man's life? Luckily, by the grace of God, this young man lived to tell about it. He lived to tell the story, thank God. And so I'm just glad that he's safe, but he said he's traumatized. And then the job sent him back up through that area. And so that's why he got an issue with them right now, because they sent him back without no regards to his mental health, because he said, I'm traumatized. I'm scared to go back up in there. And it is scary, especially if you had some situation like that. They should have reassigned him. So let me know in the comment section if you heard this story. That's crazy. And I hope that they hold these men accountable. That's just ridiculous. This is the year 2022, and these kinds of things are still happening. But it's just certain neighborhoods that we can't, in certain neighborhoods. Yep, you know, things haven't. That's the saying is the more things change, the more things stay the same. You ever heard that saying? The more things change, the more things stay the same. So stuff ain't really changed all that much. Just not really. You know, we can go to the restaurant and stuff, and you know, you can drink out the same fountains and go to the same bathrooms, but a lot of things are still the same as they were 50 years ago. It's crazy. So let me know in the comment section if you've heard that story. It's crazy. I'm so glad this young man lived to tell about it. And let me know what your thoughts are on it. It's just ridiculous. It's a shame that this stuff is still happening these days. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And hit the subscribe button. Help me get to my 1,000 subscriber goals. Even if you're not going to watch my videos all the time, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit my 1,000 subscriber goal so I can start to actually monetize. So go ahead and help me out there, and hit that notification bell so every time I do a video, you will be notified. And until the next video, peace and love.